Hello, everyone. I wanted to um, talk to you all about my date the other day. So I'm late discussing it. So I have to come over here and just do a late video, but I really wanted to do a video about it. So I went on a date and we went to Latitude Seafood Restaurant. This is with a guy. He is 42. He lives in Quantico, Virginia, which is about an hour and a half from me. I'm in Richmond. And he came down here. We went to the restaurant. We met there. And it was pretty popular for a Saturday night. So we had about a 25-minute wait. So he and I sat, we were supposed to meet there at 6:30, but we got there at like 6:45. So, because he was in the vicinity, but he just couldn't find it. So I had him to stay where he was until I could get to him, and then he just followed me. So they have this patio balcony type area, or patio, I'll say patio type area, and they had lounge chairs out there. So we sat out there and talked, and we had a nice conversation. He is Nigerian. He is American citizen, but he's Nigerian. He was born in Nigeria. He's only been in the U.S. for 10 years. He has an accent, but it's not thick or anything. He's very fluent in English, and you can understand everything he says. And he's a financial analyst for a Fortune 500 company, and that's important to him. I said that because that's important to him. Um, Financial stability is important to me, but it's not important to me that you work for a Fortune 500 company. It's not important to me what your legal occupation is, as long as you can sustain and take care of yourself and your responsibilities, i.e., as if you have children and your bills. So, but that's important to him. He feels very financially responsible, and he is divorced and has two children, ages 7 and 9. Now, I knew he had two children. I knew he was divorced, but I did not know how old his children were, because he had never told me, and I guess I never asked. So let me give you some backstory. We met off of a dating site. You all know I'm on a dating site. That's where I meet the people, because I don't meet anybody in the street. Nobody in the street comes up to me. They wave at me from the car. They silently ask for my number when I'm driving beside them and stuff like that. But nobody comes up to me in the store and says, "Hi, ma'am. How are you? You're beautiful. Can I have your number?" It just doesn't happen to me anymore. It used to back in the day, but it just doesn't happen anymore. So the dating site is usually where I meet the people. Uh, so we met and we talked on the phone maybe 3 or 4 times. And he told me, "Oh my goodness, this is like really bad timing. I'm about to go to Nigeria for 3 weeks. I go there once a year." He said, "I try to go at least once a year. But and I go for like 2 to 3 weeks. And this time I'm going for 3 weeks." He was like, "So, I don't want you to think that I'm not going to be interested, or I'm not calling you, but when I'm over there, it's very remote. I live like my village and place is like very remote, and the reception is bad. So not even WhatsApp really works over there. So I'll be gone for 3 weeks, but when I come back, I'll get back in contact with you." And I said, "Okay." I said, "If I'm still available, that's fine." So, okay, so he was gone for 3 weeks. I completely forgot about him. I'm not trying to be shady. It's just that, things move quickly. I mean, it's a lot going on, and you forget about people easily, especially if you only talk to them 3 times. I got a text message from him like 2 weeks ago, and he was like, "Hey, just hopped in an Uber from the airport on my way to my house. I'm back." And at first I was reading it, And I was like, who is that? And then I remember I remembered him, and that he went to Nigeria. So I was like, oh, welcome back. So we talked on the phone, but really we video chat. Like we would video chat like 2 or 3 times a day, and we talked, and we had good conversation. And he's very book smart. He doesn't do that much extracurricular. So, basically, sorry, I'm having to get comfortable. I went out to eat and I got the itis. But anyways, so he's really book smart, and he kind of focuses on that. He doesn't really do a lot of extracurricular activities. And so he was just, wanting to go out and us have dinner. So, like I said, we went to the seafood restaurant. So, while we were sitting and waiting to be seated, we were talking, and he was like, "Hey, I really like your hair. It's really nice." And I was like, "Thank you." And he was like, "I really don't usually pay that much attention to hair." He was like, "Because I feel like people who um, style hair and cut hair, it's a thankless job, and it really doesn't require that much skill. So I really don't pay attention to it, but I really like your hair." And he was like, "And I'm not sure if it's, sorry with the camera. He was like, "I'm not really sure if it's because, it looks African and tribal. And so is that what's drawing me to it? But it's just so neat and not a hair out of place and all of that stuff." So I was like, "Well, thank you very much." I was like, "But I do want you to know that, doing hair does take a lot of skill and creativity. To cut hair, to style hair, to do nails. I mean, I told him, I was like, my stylist, the person that does my hair and my nails, I can show her a picture and she can recreate it on me." And I was like, and she's seen no video on how to do it. Her motto is always, I can't get you exact, but I can get you real close. And so, I mean, look at these nails. Okay, she did this by hand. Look at these nails, honey. This is skill. This is skill. This hair, everything. It's just, and I was explaining to him that takes skill, patience and time. And I can't do it. I'm not a hair person. That's why I pay to get myself done. I can't do it myself. So it's not something that everybody else can do. He was bald, so he shaves his own head. So I guess to him, like, he can take care of it himself. He doesn't have to go to anybody. So he feels like it's a thankless job, but it's really not. And I tried to explain that to him. So he was like, "When you say it like that, well, I changed my mind today." He was like, so I guess, I should thank you for that. You opened my eyes to something." So I was like, okay. So we went to a restaurant. We sat down. He felt like our waitress wasn't giving him enough eye contact. And I felt like she was. It's just that she was trying to multitask. She had a lot of tables. And, when it was time to take our order, she gave us eye contact. Whenever we called her over, she gave us eye contact. When she came to check on us, she did. But as she was walking by, and when she dropped off our drinks, she had another table's drinks too. So she didn't, give eye contact. And I told him, she's very nice and she's knowledgeable and she has been accurate. So let's not create problems. I don't like it when people are like, rude to service people of service and service jobs. And just I don't like that, because it's when they feel like they have something over you, or they could tell you what to do, or I just don't like that. So I was very conscious of him doing that, and I tried to correct it. So I've got to get a stay in, because this isn't working. I've had some cocktails and my arm, I think, is tired. But I had to, tell you all this because I'm behind, because I've gone on 2 dates. So I'm really trying to get this out. So, so I tried to correct him on that. Anyways, our food comes and he loves the food. He says it's really good. He gets a steak, and asparagus and broccoli, and I get shrimp and carrots, and honey sriracha Brussels sprouts, and it's delicious. And we're talking. So I said to him, I said, hey, how old are your children? Because I realized I didn't know. He was like, they're 7 and 9. I said, okay. I said, have you seen them since you've been back from Nigeria? I was like, because I haven't heard you mention it, but I'm not trying to act as though you tell me everything. I know we talk a couple times a day, but I'm not so naive that I think that you tell me everything. I was like, so I felt like maybe I just missed it, but have you seen them since you've been back? And he was like, no, I haven't. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, so did you see them before you left? Now, even though he had been back a week and a half, I mean, almost, well, really 2 weeks almost. And I was like, I felt like he should have seen them. I'm like, at least he should have seen them beforehand because he was over there for 3 weeks. And now this makes 2 weeks. So that was like a total of 5 weeks. So I'm like, at least he should have seen them before he went. So I was like, did you see them before you left? And he was like, no. So then I was like, thinking to myself, stop asking him yes or no questions. Now you need to ask him questions that require him to say a full sentence because he's not giving you anything. It's like pulling teeth. So I said, okay, well, when was the last time that you saw your children? He said last year. This was my face because I can't hide my facial expressions. I was like, last year. Now, mind you, last year could have been December, which would have been like 5.5, 6 months ago. But it could have also been October, July, August. All of that's last year. So he never said like December of last year or whatever. So I said to him, why has it been since last year that you've seen your children? He was like, because in order for me to see my children, I have to go through their mother. I said, okay, you mean your ex-wife, the person that you had married, the person that you loved so much at one time? He was like, yes, but that's not that way anymore. And I said, no, I understand, but excuse me, y'all. I was like, so you're meaning to tell me that you can't co-parent with her, that you can't get along with her long enough to see your children? He was like, no, I can't. What do you mean? I mean, that's how I was looking, like looking around, like I had to pause. And he was like, good, she sets out to make my life miserable. She does everything she can to make me unhappy, and I'm not going to do it. My mom died 3 years ago, and when she died, she told me that I didn't need to die with her and that needed to continue to live my life. And so that's what I'm going to do. And arguing with somebody, that gives you headaches and heart palpitations, can send you to an early grave. And I'm not going to do that. So I'm just not going to have any interaction with her. So I just, don't see them. And you don't understand. It cost me $27,000 to get this divorce because my lawyer was a good lawyer and he charged so much an hour. And, so, it just, and I had to pay her some money. And he was like, just one lump. I think he had to pay the lawyer. Then I think he had to pay her like a one-time fee or something, like a one-time fee or something. Because he had to pay half of her lawyer cost. I don't know. It was something. And then, he pays child support. So he was like, but I pay her a pretty penny, and because I pay more than mandated for my child support. And he was like, she was just making it very difficult. And I was like, don't you all have an order? So like he was like, yeah, I'm supposed to get every other weekend and holidays, and we rotate holidays or something, he was saying. And then I can have like up to 2 days during the week to see them for a few hours. And I was like, okay, so you have all of this. He was like, but I have to deal with her and she makes my life, I was like, but you could take a sheriff over there when you go. You can have somebody be the go in between, your mediator. I was like, there are ways that you can set up, she has to let you see her kids. It's court ordered. And he was like, well, I just don't want to deal with her and fuss with her, so I'm fine. I pay the child support and I'm very successful and I'm going to continue to be successful in my jobs and, save money and make money so that when they get 18, they can just come find me if they want to have a relationship with me. and I'll be able to help them financially then, like if they need something, like if they need money to help get their business off or go to college or whatever, I'll be able to help them then. That's how I'm going to honor them, by being successful in life. I said, what? No matter how much money you make, sir, that's not going to take the place of you physically being there and emotionally being there and mentally being there for your children. Like, how can you do that? I was like, that doesn't hurt you. I was like, that's 11 years. Your youngest one is 7, so that's 11 years from now for her to be 18, graduating from school. I was like, does that not hurt you? He was like, yeah, it hurts me, but I'm just not going to keep dealing with her and fussing every day. So I've just detached myself and made peace with it. So, hey, listen, hey, he is doing what I guess he has to do for himself. But let me tell you something. I finished the date. I had a great conversation. He did not know anything. He was like, oh, I had such a good time at the end of the night. He hugged me. I look forward to setting up another date. I want to see you again. All of this stuff. But let me tell you something. At that moment, I knew there was not going to be a second date. If you can detach yourself from your children and you do not make the effort to see your children when it is court ordered that you can see your children, and that you know that you have 2 living human beings out in the world, no thanks. No thanks. That's not my type of person. I don't want to be married to somebody like that. I'm not going to be married to a man who, I mean, because he was very adamant about wanting to get married, but I'm not going to be married to a man, and I know he got 2 kids out here and he just don't see them. Like, nah, I'm good on that. No, no thanks. I want to be married and to have children. I would not want to have children with a man who already has 2 children who he's not seeing. What about if he gets mad at me and something happens to me and we break up or we get divorced or whatever, and then he feels like I'm being difficult? He's going to detach himself from my children as well? No, thank you. No, thank you. So the date itself was fine, but his answer to that question and him not seeing his kids was his disqualifier. And so therefore that's why we didn't have a second date. But it was nothing that he did on the date or anything except for like kind of be rude to the waitress. But he wasn't like super rude. It was just like that one time, and I just, kind of talked to him about it, and he said he understood, and then that was it. So that was him. So on Monday that just passed, I went on another first date, and it was with this guy, and his name, oh, it's Isaac. Oh my gosh, that is terrible. No, 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 no. I think y'all know how this gonna go. I already. But listen, his name is Isaac, and he said Isaac means laughter. I didn't look it up myself, so I'll just have to go with it. He should know what his name means. He says Isaac means laughter. So his name is Isaac. He's a truck driver. He lives in Columbia, South Carolina. We met on the dating site, but he comes through this way dropping loads off. He's not just a local driver. He's a East Coast, down south type of driver, long distance with trucks. So, tractor trailer. So, he had to drop a load off on Monday in Washington, D.C., and on his way back, he was going to Fredericksburg to visit his sister. And then Fredericksburg is like an hour away from me, 55 minutes to an hour. And he said, can I stop through, on my way back to South Carolina, can I stop through and take you out to dinner? So, I mean, I'm not really a Monday type of person, but I was just like, okay, that's fine. I just went with it. I just went on with it. So I picked him up from the truck stop because he has to park his truck at the truck stop, and then I had to come pick him up because he didn't want to drive his truck because a lot of places, don't have room for him to park it. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I went and picked him up, and he was so happy to see me. He gave me a big hug, and I was like, oh, he gives good hugs. And I had a late lunch, like a really late lunch. And so, like, when I saw him, I had just eaten like 2.5 hours ago. Yeah, like 2.5 to 3 hours ago. Yeah, I'll say three. And the food was still on my stomach, so I just was not hungry. And he said that he had eaten late too, so we instead went for ice cream. So we went for ice cream. This place called Celestial ice cream, which I love. It's like my new favorite ice cream spot. So we went for ice cream and he loved it. We sat and we talked and we ate ice cream and we talked some more. And we walked outside and walked around like we were in this like downtown area. Then like there's some benches. We sat in the benches and we talked. And it was just mostly like us talking and eating ice cream and it was a nice time. And then like he filled my gas tank up and I took him back and we sat in the car and talked. He rubbed my feet. He asked me could he rub my feet. So I let him rub my feet. And then he asked me could he suck my toes, y'all. And I was like, no. Because, see, I didn't want him to suck my toes because that's doing too much. Because he probably would be hooked just off of sucking my toes. Like, because he was already hooked off of, like, a hug and stuff. Like, he was so, like, mesmerized by my beauty. So, I didn't, but when he left, we did kiss, and he talked about that kiss for like 4 days. How it was like the best kiss, and I do understand that because y'all, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but toot toot. Okay, when it comes to kissing, I am something like a professional. I'm a professional kisser because I kept my virginity for a long time. If you all didn't know. And all I used to do was kiss. Like that was like what I was doing. So I perfected it. So I'm an excellent kisser. So I had a good time with him. The only thing is he's really just not trying to. He says he wants a relationship, but he's really not trying to have anything serious. He's a truck driver. He's just trying to see you when he come through and talk to you on the phone sometimes when he in the truck, and treat you right, spend money on you, but just nothing. He wants a child. He's 45. He doesn't have any children. He really desperately wants a child, but he really wants a boy because he wants to keep his bloodline going because, he has all sisters and, no one's carrying, the children aren't carrying the last name. So he really wants it that way. So, it's almost though it's more important for him to have a child than to get married. Like he says he wants to get married and have children, but he always stresses the child. So it's not, and he was like, I could, if you wanted to, we could just agree to have a child. Like now. He was like, and I would make sure you're taken care of. I promise. I would, you wouldn't even have to work during your pregnancy, and I believe him. I believe him. But I want love and I want marriage. I want a child. I want a child. I'm not going to say desperately, but very badly. But I don't want to just have it with anyone, and I don't know you. I don't know your family history or anything. And so, I'm good on that. So, like I said, it was nothing wrong with the date. We had fun. It's just that I don't really see the urgency for him to commit. He doesn't really have one, and he's not willing to really, speed that up or rush that or anything. So that's all with that. So I just wanted to tell you all I haven't made a video in like 2 weeks. So I haven't had but 2 dates in the last 2 weeks. And so, I wanted to tell you all about them. I am very much over first dates, but I know that in order for me to find my soulmate, I have to keep going on first dates until I find the person I'm supposed to be with. So I have to do what I have to do. So if you know of anybody who is smart, integral, loving, compassionate, family oriented, wants, who is single, he must be single, and want to be in a serious committed relationship that leads to marriage and children, you all hook a sister up. I mean, Meghan Markle is a duchess because her friends hooked her up with Prince Harry. So y'all hook me up with my prince. Hook me up with my king, my prince, whatever. Hook me up. Okay, y'all. Until next time. Love you.